Every diet you've ever started was built on a single fundamental lie. The lie is that your success or failure is a measure of your willpower. By the end of this, you will understand the intricate biological machinery that actively works to sabotage weight loss. You'll see the battle isn't in your head, it's in your hormones, your brain chemistry, and your evolutionary wiring. And the reason you need to know this now is that you are probably blaming yourself for a process you were never meant to control. Your body has a hidden agenda. It operates on a principle known as the set point theory. Think of it like a thermostat for your body weight. This isn't a single number, but a comfortable range, usually about 10 to 20 pounds, where your body feels safe and functions optimally. It will defend this range with the same ferocity it uses to regulate your body temperature. When you start eating less and the number on the scale drops below this range, your body doesn't celebrate. It panics. It perceives the calorie deficit as a threat, a signal of famine, an existential crisis. And it activates a full-scale emergency response to push your weight back up to its designated safe zone. The first thing it does is declare an energy crisis. Your metabolism, the rate at which you burn calories at rest, begins to slow down. Your body becomes ruthlessly efficient, learning to run on fewer calories. This is why weight loss often plateaus. You're eating the same number of calories that caused you to lose 5 pounds a month ago, but now the scale refuses to move. Your body has adapted. It has learned to survive on less. But a slower metabolism is only the first line of defense. The real war happens on a chemical level. The primary weapons your body deploys are two powerful hormones, ghrelin and leptin. Leptin is produced by your fat cells. When you have ample energy stored, leptin levels are high, sending a signal to your brain that says, "We're full, we're safe." You can stop eating. Ghrelin is produced mainly in your stomach. When your stomach is empty, it releases ghrelin, which travels to your brain and screams, "Feed me! We are starving." In a body at a stable weight, these two hormones exist in a delicate balance. But when you lose a significant amount of weight, that balance shatters. Your leptin levels plummet because you have less body fat to produce it. The "I'm full" signal goes quiet. At the same time, your ghrelin levels surge. The "I'm starving" signal becomes a constant, deafening roar. Researchers saw this in dramatic fashion when they studied contestants from the weight loss show, The Biggest Loser. Years after the show ended, the contestants who had lost hundreds of pounds still had shockingly low leptin levels and chronically high ghrelin. Their bodies were still screaming famine 6 years later, despite regaining much of the weight. This hormonal state is a form of torture. It creates a gnawing, persistent, obsessive hunger that has very little to do with your actual need for energy. It's a biological alarm that is almost impossible to ignore. You can use willpower to fight it for an hour, a day, maybe even a week. But biology works 24 hours a day. It never gets tired. And this hormonal shift does more than just make you feel hungry. It fundamentally changes how your brain perceives the world. This chemical assault hijacks your brain's reward system. When your body is in a state of perceived starvation, your brain becomes hypersensitive to the sight, smell, and thought of food, especially high-calorie food. The technical term is an increase in the hedonic response to food cues. What this feels like is a sudden, intense obsession. A picture of a pizza on a billboard doesn't just look good, it triggers a profound craving. The smell from a bakery feels intoxicating. Your brain, desperate to end the famine, dials up the dopamine hit you get from energy-dense foods. That donut in the break room now promises a rush of pleasure far more intense than it would if your body felt safe and well-fed. You're fighting a dopamine system supercharged by caloric debt. Have you ever been deep into a diet and found yourself watching cooking shows for hours or scrolling through pictures of food online? That wasn't a failure of focus. That was your brain under direct orders from your ancient survival programming running a search and rescue mission for calories. It dedicates more and more cognitive real estate to seeking food. This creates a perfect storm. Your metabolism has slowed to conserve every possible calorie. Your hunger hormones are screaming that you are in mortal danger, and your brain's reward system is making the very foods you are trying to avoid seem like the key to your salvation. Trying to overcome this with sheer determination is like trying to hold your breath indefinitely. Eventually, biology wins, but the entire system is based on a profound mismatch between the world our bodies were built for and the world we actually inhabit. Your genetic code was written during hundreds of thousands of years of scarcity. For our ancestors, starvation was a constant and immediate threat. A body that was good at storing fat was a body that survived the winter. A brain that craved sugar and fat was a brain that sought out the rarest, most valuable energy sources in the environment. The hormonal response to weight loss, the slowing metabolism, the surging ghrelin, was a life-saving adaptation. It prevented our ancestors from wasting away during lean times. Your body's resistance to your diet is the echo of your great-grandmother's successful survival strategy. You carry the genes of the people who were good at not starving. The problem is that this ancient hardware is now running in a modern world it was never designed for. We live in an environment of unprecedented abundance. We are surrounded by a nearly infinite supply of cheap, hyper-palatable, calorie-dense foods. Food scientists and corporations spend billions of dollars engineering products to be maximally rewarding, to perfectly exploit our ancient cravings for salt, sugar, and fat. Critics might suggest that we should just use our evolved prefrontal cortex, our human reason, to override these primal urges. And for a little while, we can. You can make the good choice a few times, but willpower is a depletable resource. It's like a muscle that gets tired with use. Every time you walk past a vending machine or say no to a slice of cake, you use up a little bit of it. Biology, on the other hand, is the operating system running in the background all the time. You are fighting millions of years of evolution and a multi-trillion-dollar food industry. The game is profoundly rigged against you, but you can stop playing their game and start creating your own. The way out is to shift the battlefield. The objective is to stop fighting a war against your own biology and start changing the environment in which that biology operates. This begins by abandoning the idea of willpower as the primary tool. Instead, the focus becomes architecture. You become the architect of your environment. You don't rely on willpower to avoid the cookies at 9 in the evening if the cookies were never purchased at the grocery store. You make the healthy choice the easy choice, the default choice. This means designing your kitchen, your pantry, and your daily routines to support your goals. You pre-cut vegetables and put them at eye level in the fridge. You put the junk food, if you have it at all, on a high shelf out of sight. You plan your meals in advance so that when you are tired and hungry, the decision has already been made for you. Each of these small architectural changes removes one decision point. It saves a little bit of that precious willpower for when you truly need it. It's about making your environment do the heavy lifting. This approach also works with your body's chemistry instead of against it. Small, gradual changes are less likely to trigger the body's famine response. Adding a serving of protein to your breakfast or going for a 20-minute walk after dinner doesn't send the same panic signals as a sudden drastic crash diet. The body has time to adjust its set points slowly without declaring a state of emergency. You're not shocking the system, you're gently guiding it. The entire diet industry is built on the narrative of personal responsibility. It sells you a plan, and when that plan fails because it triggers a cascade of biological compensations, the industry allows you to blame yourself. You assume you lack discipline. You think you failed. The system was designed for you to fail, because a returning customer is the only kind of customer the diet industry has. The problem was never your character. The problem was your strategy. You were given a hammer and told to perform brain surgery. You've been treating your body like an adversary to be conquered, when it is simply an ancient machine following its programming. It's a survival mechanism that is exquisitely adapted to a world that no longer exists. All of its defenses, all of its resistance, all of its stubborn refusal to let go of energy is rooted in a deep biological imperative to keep you alive. Your body isn't your enemy. It's a loyal bodyguard that thinks it's protecting you from a famine that never came. The real challenge is to stop fighting its protective instincts. The work is to gently, patiently, and systematically show it that the world has changed. The war is over,